As promised like before, we're going to get working on the pre-trip. First thing you want to check, make sure the truck's not leaning. If the truck is leaning, there's a sign that the suspension may be messed up. Second thing you want to check is underneath the truck. Right now this truck is not leaking and it is not bleeding. Now we're going to get on to the first part of the truck on the outside. We want to check all pieces of equipment that are attached to the truck. So this new handy dandy mirror is attached and it ain't going nowhere. Next, truck grill. This little bumper is secure. It is not going anywhere. You want to check your hood. The hood latch is secure. Your mirror is secure. They are not loose. You also want to check your steps. Steps and tank are secure. Driver's handle, secure. Now you want to look at the battery box, right? Batteries are intact. And the battery box is closed. Next section you need to check are all the tanks. Make sure they're not moving. There's no leaks, no nothing. Work your way back. You want to check all the reflectors. Make sure they are clean. As you work your way further back, you want to check your threads on your tires. Threads are about half a joint in a pinky. That's about a quarter of an inch. This one well packed. You will also, I apologize if it's too dark, check your leaf springs. You are looking for cracks. Anything that's cracked will be a problem. While you're back here, you will look for gashes in the tires, in between, and any loose debris on the outside. I failed to mention the front tire, but since we're at the back one, we're gonna look at this one too. I will check that before this is over. You want to check your lug nuts. Make sure they are all tight. Quick little test with your fingers should be enough. You can also tell if they're loose by little drips of rust. That means there's a little space for the water to get in between called all rust. You don't want that because that's a problem. If you're hitting 50, 60 miles an hour, that could pose a little loose, could pose a problem, especially carrying 20, 30,000 pounds. Mud flap is secure. Now, making our way to the back of the truck, you want to make sure your lights are visible, and your license plate is secure. You also want to check your door. Make sure that's not going nowhere. This little thing right here, that's called an ICC bar. And again, you want to make sure your lights are visible and secure. Clean off any reflectors and check your mud flap again. We will do the same thing we did on that side of the truck in reverse. Now this side of the truck has the muffler, so we will check the exhaust pipe as well. That is secure. It is not going anywhere. Alright, now let's check the lights. Now it's a bright sunny day, so you might not be able to see the headlight very well, but the headlights are working and the four-ways are working. You also want to check the top on your clearance. We will do the same thing in the rear of the truck. Now that you're in the back of the truck, you want to check the top lights as well. Clearance lights are good and operational, along with the four-ways. Now, if you have a partner, you can check both turn signals and the reverse lights. But since we don't have anybody, we're just going to check this out. And another thing, you want to check the brake lights, make sure those work on command with the brake switch. Normally, if you're at an instruction, like an instructional place where you're taking your road test, the instructor will be in the back of the vehicle, will tell you to press on the brakes, and they'll tell you that they're on. Like, alright, now let's get into the cab and get started on what goes on inside. Now that you're inside of the truck, what you're first going to do is start the engine. I'm going to show you again. We did this last time when we were driving, but let's show you again. Right here, that's where the intake heater lamp is. So we're going to turn the key. Oh, I'm sorry, it's right there. You want to check that. Don't even start it before that. Notice how all the gauges go crazy. See? You want to make sure all your gauges are spinning and working. These two right here are your reserve, your air tanks. Those are not going to move because that tells you how much pressure you have inside of your tanks. We're going to wait for the intake here to turn off, and then we're going to start the truck. Alright, intake here went off, so now we're going to turn her over. Alright, we're going to let this bad boy warm up. See, the water temperature is real low. So before we even pull out, because it's winter time, we're going to have to wait for the truck to warm up. While we're waiting for the truck to warm up, what we're going to do is we're going to check, we're going to do our brake check. First, we're going to clean the tanks, make sure our emergency little buzzing thing goes off, and then from there, we're going to clean it out so we make sure our pocket brake goes off. Alright, hold on, we got another truck coming in. Let me get out of his way. Alright, we moved out of the truck's way. It's not a big problem. Just cause, we just moved like 10 feet, 20 feet. So what we're going to do now is just continue on where we were. The parking brake, right now it's engaged. Well, it's engaged. You want to push the button in, alright? Make sure you do this on a level piece of ground. If not, have it chopped on the front and back of one of your wheels in the rear. This way the truck doesn't roll forward or backwards, alright? Now, I need some coffee real quick. Now, in order to bleed the brakes, what you need to do is step on the brake pedal. You will hit air release. You want to do this until you hear that little buzzer. See that little red thing? Alright. That little red thing means your air tank is not fully open. Like, it's not fully inflated. Like, pressurized. Something like that. It means there's not enough air to safely operate the vehicle. We're going to continue to do this because next check is what we got to do is we got to check the parking brake. I'm going to continue bleeding it out. At a certain point, usually down around 25 psi, see, that's where it popped off. That will pop out automatically. That pops out automatically because there's no more air and basically the spring brakes close up. Now, we're gonna fill up the tanks, and while we're doing that, we're gonna check out the rest of the interior. Alright, next thing we gotta do, make sure all your legal documents, registration, insurance, make sure you have your license in your pocket as well. It'd be kind of stupid to get on the road without a license. Also your logbook and your pre-trip. Alright, take it out real quick. We are at full power. We have full air. Now, well, I got to talking about that. We're going to shut this down just so you can hear us a little bit better. Alright, next step. Your triangle. You should have 3. That's 1, 2, 3. These open up. I'll pull one side up, pull the other side together, crisscross it. That's simple. It locks into place. Real easy. You're supposed to have 3 of these. Make sure there's 3 of them in your truck. The next thing that you make sure you have is a fire extinguisher. Now, not just any fire extinguisher, but one that is properly charged. It can be a pain in the ass to try to put out a fire without any fire fighting stuff inside. Don't be that person. Then you wind up pissing on it. If you're holding around them toxic, flammable stuff, you don't want your wiener to get too close to that. That would just be a hurtful thing. Alright. Last 2 little things, and then we're going to get on to, well, last 3 little things, depending on the weather. Hold on a sec. make sure your wipers are working, right? And after your wipers, you want to make sure your service horn as well as your air horn both work. The next little thing we're gonna do, we're gonna check, make sure our brakes work with the parking brake lock. Meaning it's pulled out and the truck will not move. You gotta check your parking brakes. So what you're gonna do, like I said before, take your stick, gentle pulse, put it in first gear. Now you will slowly let up off the clutch. The truck is not moving. It wants to go. See how we jump around? We ain't moving. Parking brake works. Next brake check you gotta do is your 50-foot service brake check. Now, how to do that? Take your parking brake, you push it in. Gentle force on the stick, gentle force. You want to let off the clutch a little. Pull up. And check that your brakes work. Brakes work. Safe vehicles operate. Alright, boys and girls. At this point, your instructor will then tell you to signal and pull out. That's if you're on a road test. If not, you are pretty much done with your pre-trip inspection. Hope you all learned something today. And if you liked the video, hit the like button first off, and then make sure you hit my little subscribe button right there on top. Because, yeah, if it's good quality, you know, and informative, I think you should share some love. I'm gonna go park this back in the back of the building again, and make sure you visit cookinwithearl.com.